Welcome to the Jones Homestead. My husband, Johnny Jones, and I bought this property. I believe it was at the end of 1952. We moved in December of 1953. This was a piece of property that was originally a cypress swamp. My father and my uncle contracted with the owner of the property, and they removed the cypress trees. They were not paid for the removal, but they were allowed to sell the cypress. After the cypress was removed, 1 year there was a tomato farm that was here, and the following year my husband and I were offered an opportunity to buy 5 acres of land. We really had no money, but the owners of the property were friends of my parents, and they offered us the property for $500 an acre, $100 down, and $100 a year for 20 years. We accepted.
$100 per acre for 5 acres. It's $100 an acre.
Oh, 100, yes, okay, $100 an acre. We started building what was going to be our garage. It was 37 feet long and about 11 feet wide, I believe. We bought the cement blocks out of every paycheck, and when we get enough blocks together, then they would put up a section. From the time we started until we were able to move in, took us about 11 months. It was a poured concrete floor and cement block walls. Well, we got the walls up, but we hadn't poured the beam. It was in the fall of the year, and we had a hurricane forecast. The hurricane was right offshore, a couple of 100 miles. Fortunately, it stalled. So, it gave us an opportunity to pour the beam. Well, we didn't have a culvert, so we couldn't get a cement truck in. So we had to pour the beam using a homemade cement mixer tied to a pulley on a lawnmower. And we mixed the concrete and poured it. But before we poured it, we had to build the form boards for it. It was before the days of doing it with plywood, and we used 1x6s, and we had to use some kind of thing to pry them together so they wouldn't leak. We got them built. The wind was blowing about 40 miles an hour, and the beam was, the cement blocks were 8 inches wide, and we had to get up on top of those 8-inch wide beams to put the form boards down so we could pour the beam. Well, I was petrified of heights, but I just had no choice. I had to get up on top of the beam and walk on the beam, and we put the form boards, they were together, and we had to pull them apart. They had bolts in them, and fit them down over the top of the cement blocks. We got it poured. Tremendous amount of work, got them poured. The hurricane turned and went the other direction, but we at least had our walls secured. Soon after, we put the roof on, and on December the 23rd of 1953, we moved in.
Who moved in with you? Kids?
When we moved in, we just had 2 children. We had our oldest boy, Johnny, who was 3, and Diane was about 1.5 years old.